feed your cat, drink enough water, and maybe send this show to a friend who's also into film. But yeah, without further ado, Lachlan, let's have a look at this week's news. And first up, I wanted to quickly talk about the recent changes that Netflix is about to undergo, with them cracking down on the password sharing, and in combination with them recently increasing their subscription prices as well. Why do you think, Lachlan, do you have an opinion on this? Why do you think Netflix is doing this now? Are they...
Because they want more money.
They want more money. Yeah, they had a big, I guess, start to the pandemic in 2020. They had a huge number of signups. Now those numbers are kind of going back down. Not as many people. I guess they're not losing subscribers, so there's no big increase.
I'm a big believer in, if you buy something, you are taking ownership of that product. So like when I buy like my phone, for example, like this is my phone, I want to have the ability to do what I want with that. And it kind of goes the same with like services as well. Like I pay for like Spotify and stuff, and I share that with my family because that's my product, and I pay to have the ability to have up to 6 people. Nowhere does it say, when it says like you can watch up to 4 screens, who you cannot share it with.
Yeah.
Like
I guess I didn't.
Yeah, you can have basic Netflix with 2 screens, Netflix with 4 screens, but it doesn't say who you can share it with, right? It just says you can have 4 screens. If you've got like 6 screens, I don't know what the subscription numbers are that they give you, but like if I pay for the highest end and I can have up to say 6 profiles and each person can watch a stream, who the fuck does it matter that I'm like sharing it with, right? Everyone has the thing where if they share their password too many times, they get locked out because one person is fucking using it, right? And you just text the group chat saying, "Get the fuck off my Netflix so I can watch it. I pay for it, you fucker."
Yeah.
But like, if you're paying for it and it says you can have like 5-6 screens, who the fuck does it matter that you're giving it to? You're paying for that.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering because it says like, technically you could say you have it on 4 screens. And I think it also says specifically that you can stream it on 4 screens like simultaneously. But technically they could change it that you just have it on like different devices, just the number of a device. I can't remember which, maybe it was Netflix, but they had you locked at a certain number of devices you could be logged into. It was like 10 or something like that, but maybe I'm confusing services here. But yeah, I don't really get why they're cracking down on this, because like obviously they would want people to sign up for their own Netflix account, so they would increase the number of subscribers. They are not increasing the amount of users because like of password sharing. I don't know if this is the best way to go about it. It feels a bit like desperate and not, I guess, as user friendly as you try to want to be in these streaming wars. But like, can you see Netflix coming out of these streaming wars alive, or do you think they'll
Netflix
go under
will
in this new
maintain
age?
its crown for sure, because it's always had such a large catalog of both really good classics and also very good originals. Well, I say very good, but like to most people they're very good. I find most of the Netflix originals to be quite trash, but they're sometimes quite enjoyable. Whether or not they survive, Netflix is kind of here to stay. They are the king for a reason. And that's just because they are putting out some decent stuff. Like they have a good catalog. There's no way I'm canceling my Netflix subscription to get Paramount Plus.
What about what about Halo? How are you gonna watch Halo, man?
I'm gonna watch Halo. No. Like I'll get the free trial.
Yeah,
and then not watch
a good
anything
thing.
else.
Yeah, maybe in the wake of also the Marvel shows now being over in the Disney Plus or maybe Hulu side. It's on Disney Plus here, but I don't know if it's in the States. I think they have it more split into like Hulu, because we don't have Hulu internationally. But yeah, maybe like in the wake of some stuff leaving Netflix and more companies launching their own services and not as much stuff like landing on Netflix, just later down the line, licensed stuff as well. They are really relying on their originals. And I don't know if they can keep up the pace of how much they actually spend on these. Because I assume there's not like a huge margin of making a profit when you don't also increase um the subscriber count. And maybe they've hit like a glass ceiling, or like the ceiling that they have potentially of people who sign up for it. But we'll see. I think Netflix is also a player that is going to stay around with the Primes and Disney Pluses of the world, and even Apple TV Plus. I think is one that we'll see for a long time. But I guess speaking of Amazon, let's talk about the recent acquisition, or not as recent. It was back in May, but it's now gone through like certain regulations in the EU, and the FTC could still kind of, I guess, interfere with this. But it looks like the MGM acquisition for 8.5 billion for Amazon is going through. So that means that more than 4,000 films and 17,000 episodes of TV are now heading over to Amazon. And with that, series like James Bond and Rocky as well. So Lachlan, you got any thoughts on this?
Well, just another day, another acquisition by another big company that has a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look, I just want one streaming service to rule them all. Like, I saw a meme today where it was four squares. It was 2012, whatever the day was, and it was like Netflix came out, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is quite good." And the guy like has like a chest and puts away the Pirate Bay and says, "No, I no longer need you, my old friend." And then it's like fast forward to 2022, and there's like a bajillion services with like exclusive content, and he like pulls out the fucking Pirate Bay again. It's like,
Yeah.
look,
Good day, good friend.
We're in a weird time where everyone's got an exclusive show that's better than the other competitor, and it's a fucking mess of things. But at some point, like, someone's gonna take over fucking Sony. Like, Disney will buy Sony for some reason, or Microsoft will buy Sony, and Microsoft will then be bought out by Disney, and then Disney will buy the fucking US president, and the US president will then be owned by everybody else. Like, it's such a fucking mess that they just want to like take these companies. I don't know if a lot of them are just like absorbing them into it. Like, there's Disney and Fox still, like Fox Studios is still a thing, or like some companies are literally just absorbing them and taking their resources, and just that company ceases to exist anymore.
I think with MGM, they probably are more interested in the IP than the structure of the films, but or structure of the company. But I think with Fox, they still are keeping pretty much everything intact, at least as far as I've read about it.
Yeah.
They keep a lot of the people around. It's they still produce their own stuff. It's just under the umbrella of Disney. And yeah, I mean, it's not even just. It's very much in the media entertainment business that mergers are happening, but also in the gaming sphere. You had Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard for 69 billion. Nice. And then I guess in 2018, AT&T getting Time Warner, but that's, I guess, like not media, but something that is an other different kind of provider that we're merging. But it's interesting because like I think there's not too many more mergers, big mergers that can happen. Otherwise, I think it would be ruled against by the FTC for like a monopoly. And there are these rules in place, so you don't have just like one that reigns over everything. But I could see like Sony merging with someone else down the line, because they're definitely like, compared to Microsoft, so much smaller. But we're not a business type of podcast. We'll stay light on this topic, but I think it's super interesting because it shows where the industry is going, and you can just see we're heading towards an era where there's really just again a couple of big, like the big five, back in the 40s with the big five studios. We're heading more towards that era where we have more content than ever, but they're gonna be under the umbrella of like a couple major really big companies. And yeah, that's it for the news stories this week, and let's have a look at the first